Ultron is the latest addition to Marvel Rivals, and I thought I'd just quickly go over his abilities, primary fire, and some, not really advice, but I'll show my first 3 matches with him as well for viewing purposes to show the gameplay. So, Ultron, he's a 2-star strategist. Nothing too, nothing too difficult, nothing too complicated, really. So your primary fire is very basic. You have 6 shots, and it's a very hard-hitting burning beam that, within the right range, can 2-shot Lunar Snow. As you can see here, a 2-shot there. This is very strong. It's very strong. It has infinite range, and if I can show you what 2 shots does to Black Panther, you will see how hard this beam actually hits. It basically leaves him at 1 HP. I can't guess how much that is. That looks like 2 HP. That could literally be it. So each shot does about like 128. It could be 128 per beam, but as I said earlier, it has infinite range. So again, I can just snipe them from here. There is drop off. There is slight drop off, but literally no matter how far I go back, if I can see the target and if I'm able to shoot them, it will most likely be a 3-shot. Like again, if I'm all the way up here, if I can just thread the needle. There we go, another 3-shot there. So now we're going to get on to his abilities now, because he hasn't got a secondary fire or anything, because he's a flying character, so your technically alternate fire button is to make you go up and down. His R1 here, on controller anyway, is the drone. You put the drone on someone and it heals them. Not for much, but anyone who's near you is getting healed as well. This is also your way of getting healed, so if I take a couple shots here and I go into the drone, you can also get healed like that. This drone doesn't have infinite range. If I go a certain distance away from the bot here, it will eventually go off of them. I think it has like 20 meters range or something, but the drone has no cooldown, so you can switch it as many times as you want. So like if I can just show it here like there, and then I can just do it there, I can put it back there if I want, I can put it back there. And you can see there's a little indicator to let you know how many people are in the bot's range. So it has a 4 there, which comes into play for his triangle here, which is it's called Imperative Firewall. So the drone's called Imperative Patch, this is called Imperative Firewall. And basically, when I press triangle, I myself get bonus health, and anyone in the bot's range also gets the bonus health. It's not much, but you know, it can be something to like tank an ability, or if someone's low HP, you can give them that little extra push. It's on a 10-second cooldown, so it's not actually too long for what it is, which isn't too bad. I kind of like it. And his last ability being Dynamic Flight. So when you press circle on controller here, I basically get a small speed boost. I get 50 shield as well, and then I can fly for 8 seconds. The cooldown technically doesn't start until the abilities ran out. So it's technically on a 16-second cooldown, but for half of it, you're in the flight mode anyway, so I guess it is 8 seconds overall, but you get what I mean, if I'm being picky like that. And that's kind of it for his base kit, you know, it's nothing too complicated. You kind of want to keep the drone out and just keep locks onto people, you know, and then try and beam people down whilst you're fighting it. There is a way to cancel his reload here, if you have a look. So as it gets to about the halfway point, if I put a drone on someone, I will get all my bullets back. I'll just quickly show it again there, and then there you go. All of my bullets are restocked. So one more time, and there you go. My bullets are restocked again. That's probably the best thing I can do for cancelling his reload. This can be done with any of his abilities. It's just mostly consistent with the drone, because obviously you have no cooldown on the drone, so it's the easiest way to cancel the reload there. And his ultimate ability, before we get into the team up, is Rage of Ultron. Summon Ultron drones to fire rays, I'm not going to say that, damaging enemies or healing allies. So this is a very good healing ultimate. I'm pretty sure the healing for it is 500 per second, which is stronger than Luna's if you land all your shots. But like, look how quickly they'll go back up to full HP. So you can essentially make a teammate immortal, and if I do it on the enemy, there you go. It does okay damage to them as well. It's pretty short for what it is. But the ultimate is mostly used, from what I've learned anyway, is that you use it to enhance team fights whilst being able to, you know, try and damage the enemies yourself. It's usually good in like brawls. If you want to try and change a brawl into your favor, that's kind of when you activate it. Ultron does not get the healing from it though. I'll quickly damage myself again and activate the ultimate, so I'll just lose like, I don't know, we'll lose 100 HP here. But as you can see, when I activate it, and if I shoot at the ground, I don't get the healing. I get brief healing over time, And also the shooting here is automatic as well. You don't need to press R2 or anything. The shooting is just done by itself. For some reason it's done in bursts. I think a nice little buff for Ultron would be that the ultimate just keeps shooting, as I think it is a bit small for what it is. Like, it's very short, this ultimate. But maybe they could increase the duration, maybe they could increase the AoE, maybe they could increase the fire rate of it, because it feels weird having the bursts of it. But that's kind of it with Ultron. And with Ultron comes along a new team-up, being Stark Protocol. So Ultron basically gets a healing beam now. It's on a 30-second cooldown. I'm just going to have it off for the second, but as you can see here, the bot's taking damage. If I equip this, I heal them while stealing the bot, which is it's pretty good healing. It's pretty good healing. With Ultron's weak healing, or like not the strongest healing with the drone, this is actually really good for him, but I'll just show it one more time here, like how quickly this can actually heal up here. Like, again, this isn't the strongest healing, but since it pierces, obviously this would most likely make the opponent run away if you were to do this on someone. And again, I'm pretty sure this has infinite range as well. Yeah, you can see there. So you can do this from a safe distance and top up your teammates there like that. And that's kind of it with the team up as well. Again, nothing complicated for it. It gives Iron Man a 5% damage boost as well, with him being the anchor on it. But I feel like this is kind of mandatory to have on your team with Ultron anyway, just because of how good this is to help out with his overall healing. Because this guy is similar to Adam Warlock in the sense of you're dealing damage whilst also producing it all out. But that's kind of it for the team up and all of Ultron's abilities. I'll just show it off one more time. It's an infinite range beam that can damage people. Not the hardest hitting beam as well, but, you know, it's something you could do if you can see someone in the distance, or you might get an accidental pierce kill whilst healing someone. But yeah, that's about it for the Ultron team up there. Alright, so the first match we have here, this is my very, very first match with Ultron. We do actually have the Iron Man team up briefly here. And we're on Domination for... I can't remember what this map's called, but it's Domination, so I kind of got to see Ultron when he's in a free-for-all environment. And the main thing I want to be doing here is kind of just, like, keeping my distance, you know, just trying to poke people out and provide support. You know, you want to have the full, like, view of everybody in front of you here. As you can see, I get a pick on the Hulk there, I get another pick on the Thing, and then I'm trying to poke out even further in the distance to get more. And you can see there, just 3 KOs just like that. This guy is basically what Mr. Fantastic is. You know, he's a duelist, but he's low-key a tank, whilst Ultron is a strategist who's low-key a duelist, and Emma is a tank that's low-key a duelist, because she does a shit ton of damage. But again, you can see I'm just trying to make sure everyone's, like, all intact. I noticed my Jeff was low, so I popped the shields just in case if anything else accidentally hit him. I kind of forget that I have the Iron Man beam, I'm pretty sure, but, like, you can see I've already got my ult here. For some reason, Ultron's ult on the enemy team is loud, but I do eventually go down there. I kind of pushed way too aggro with my ult, which was kind of silly. So I use the beam here, and I kind of waste it. I try and keep my Emma up, because, you know, again, Ultron's healing on one target isn't the greatest unless he has the beam, but he's not bad actually when you're running out, because you can use your mobility for the extra 50 shield, and then if you use the triangle, which I mentioned earlier, to that spread shields to yourself and your teammate, you can get an extra 125 HP immediately, so you can actually be pretty hard to take down even on the retreat. But my Storm goes in with her ultimate there, my Jeff joins in with that team up, which is really cool in my opinion. I really like that this season. But again, we're just kind of struggling to find our way in here, but the Storm ult did manage to let us push our way through here. And again, Jeff goes down. I was a bit too slow on that. Hulk pops ult, and this is where I feel like I want to use the beam, because I'm the only healer left at the minute. But their Ultron also has ult once again, and they do have a Hela as well, so I've got to be careful. I feel like this is where Ultron struggles. I know she was hiding behind, but I feel like this is where Ultron struggles, is that a lot of the hit scan characters got buffed, so he might find it hard to find his spot in the meta, and I feel like he's going to need triple support, because as you can see there, I failed to rescue both of my teammates, and I've kind of just been stuck on the back line here. Obviously, it's my first match, so it wasn't going to be the best. I, for some reason, used the beam here to try and kill someone, and then I go down to the Moon Knight. Unfortunate. So once again, I'm just trying to keep an eye on one teammate as we go in for the push here, but it's looking a bit rough. I try and use the beam to help them on the push, but Emma ults us, so I can't really push in to help my Emma. And I'm pretty sure you can see where this is going. Our Emma goes down, unfortunately, because they didn't realize that they went in on the solo push whilst everyone was behind. I tried to ult here to see if it would help anyone push in, but I think we just... No, oh well, someone does actually contest, but obviously that's both of our tanks down, and there's not really much I can do here, especially with the thing pushing us, and we unfortunately lose the first round. Alright, heading into the second round now. I've kind of noticed Ultron shows up to the fight first, which is impressive, considering those 8 seconds of extra speed is actually really big for him. And overall, I think that showing up to the fight first isn't the worst thing, purely based on the fact that you can actually get a couple picks. Like, you can get a lot of, like, burst damage with your primary fire if you can just try and make someone dart off to the side or even back up with your infinite range beam. But you can see there, we've really got 50% of our ult charge, let alone that I kind of wasted it at the end of last round there. I let my ego get the better of me there, and I try and diff the Ultron as he's not even paying attention to me. I'm literally having a one-sided battle. And I see someone's up here, get the Moon Knight, you know, pick him off. Looks a bit overwhelming there, so I think I actually go down here because I wasn't really sure what to do in that situation. Both teammates are eating on the push, and the Ultron pushed me. Sad. I come back around here with the beam, which is kind of interesting. I'm using it for aggro more than anything, but we do actually pick off the other Ultron. And I put the beam on the penny there, the drone, sorry, and then I do that. But this is where I feel like I did a good ult here. I stop the thing from ulting, and I try and keep my Jeff up, even though he stopped playing for some reason. Even kill the thing in the process. Our rocket ults as well, so I'm just playing aggro with that. Whilst the drone is on our very healthy penny, so any slight damage she takes, she will be healed up from it. I see Hela fly off to the left, but I don't really pay too much attention to it. And again, I am for some reason using the beam on offense instead of trying to use it for when my teammate needs it most. But we successfully capture the point, so I'll take that. See it, Iron Man's low on health, give him the drone and the shields there just in case if he gets any cheeky little chip damage from the Hela or something. I keep it on him for now just because he's a flyer. And we do actually get a shared kill there. Penny goes in with her ultimate, so again, I feel like I can kind of just relax, you know, sit back, deal with a couple people here, get the thing as he tries to run on his way out. Not really sure what the Moon Knight's game plan was as he was by himself, but... And then I'm pretty sure I try and get the Jeff here. I might even get him, but you can see him just kind of in the back. And the threat of this beam is just so good, man. It does so much damage. Even other hit scan characters might have a harder time depending on it. Clearly not this Hela, though. She's, you know, chipping away at me there. And I'm kind of looking for a teammate to stay nearby so I can give them the drone. But also, if I can, I will just try and pick up a health pack by normal means, or get healed by normal means. We do have a teammate DC here, but we're going to heal up Iron Man, keep the shield on him so he can fight. I can't see who that is over there. Oh, the other Ultron. I couldn't actually see for a second who that was. But I equipped the beam here to try and heal up my penny, because again, this is where I feel like the healing overall is just better. And then I'm pretty sure, yeah, I ult here to try and kill the Jeff, but my Iron Man was one step ahead of me. So again, I'm just using my ult to keep my penny up. And as you can see, she doesn't really go below full health if you just focus someone there. And again, I see the thing running out, so I try and get him with my extra range. I get shot by Hela, and I got really spooked because I had no idea where she was. Give the drone to Iron Man. But you can see, you're constantly active with this guy. Like, you are... like 90% of the time you are paying attention to your teammates whilst also protecting yourself, and this is what I love about this character. You're not a heal bot. You actually get to deal damage. You actually get to like focus on your own survivability and deal your own damage back. But again, we're going to equip the beam here. Obviously this is where it might be a bit heal botty, but at the same time you can damage people whilst you pierce them with the heal beam. But again, I've got the Ultron on me, and I go down to Emma's ult. No respawn beacon for me as well, and the enemies are going to swiftly capture the point in overtime here. For some reason, the Emma pushed really hard at aggro here. I'm not sure why, because they didn't really get much out of it. I saw my Iron Man actually got stunned by the thing ult there, but again, we're going to use the beam because I thought there was more people and I didn't have my ult available. So I try and hit the Ultron, and I realized that I think this is where I actually clicked on that the beam is not good for damage, as obviously the Ultron did way more damage to me there than I did to him. It's kind of just the thing here, so I'm just trying to, you know, poke him out a bit, making sure I don't get too close, otherwise I'll get punched, and that is exactly what I do. I get too close and I get punched a couple times for it. But he runs back. I see the amplifier is in play, so I think it's time to just slap a drone on someone and just start dealing damage, as this guy, we all know, does a lot of damage. I'm actually trying to take on one of my counters, and I succeeded it with the That amplifies health. I ult here to try and keep my penny up, but they die, so I felt like I wasted my ult. I try and get Jeff. I didn't think I was going to land as much as I could on him. I fly away. I'm just trying to fly around, keep myself alive. I'm kind of lost here, but we get the drone on our penny, who's fighting on point, and we get the Ultron here, which is really good because he just ulted. And we capture the point successfully. Does anybody contest in time? Doesn't really look like it, as they haven't got a Strange to use Portal. Well, they do have Strange, but he hasn't got enough time to equip the Portal. And the second round goes to my team. Third round starting here. I don't usually like going through the middle for this point because I just think it's a bit risky. It usually seems to be a flanker route, and as I go in the middle, I realize there's a Hela. And there's not really much I can do here. So I try and do that for the Spider-Man, but unfortunately he goes down. And I see that Moon Knight is low HP, so I try and come around here and finish him off. And I completely fail at it, but you know, why not take out the Unk that he used to kill my Iron Man and Spider-Man in one swift go. But it's already looking rough here. They get the point immediately, and we kind of just have to back up here. But my Iron Man does get a pick. I try and deal any extra damage I can just to try and farm my ult charge. I notice that Hela is incredibly low, and I don't get her there, as my aim sucks, but my Spider-Man was the one to deal with it, and for some reason the Thing has come up to deal with me, but he quickly heads back onto point there, as I'm pretty sure he realized what was going on, that he would have just died there. Spider-Man, I give the drone and the shields to as he swings back in, just in case to keep him topped up. Now I try and use the beam here to damage the Emma, but I try and do it on the Jeff here just to stop him from healing the Emma so she can eventually go down, but it does actually force Jeff in a pretty uncomfortable scenario. So I use my ult here, I pick off the Jeff, and then I try and get the Moon Knight here, which I do succeed at. And even the Emma goes down using her ult. And look at the mess that Penny makes now when she ults. Look at this point, it is infested with webs. Even I had to take a minute to look at all of that. But it does go away when she ults, but I didn't want to push too far there. And the reason why I'm gliding so slowly here is because the map's moving left, so I'm actually pushing against like the force of the map, which feels really weird as a flyer. I try and use my beam here to keep people up, but as you can see, they use 2 ults there, and I feel like it was over, but then I see Iron Man gets 2 picks with his ult. I can't really go too far in though with the Thing there, because, you know, he's doing that. Spider-Man gets 3 with his ult, and we somehow just win the fight like that. 2 DPS ults, and that's it. That's the fight over for us there. I see my Bucky's pushed up a bit forward here as the next fight's about to start. I try and get up a bit higher so Jeff doesn't eat me. I'm not sure who actually got eaten there. I try and pick them off, and I kind of got distracted on that my Bucky dies. So I use this for me in the rocket so we can get out safely, as I try again to get a pick in the distance, and you can see there I looked at the Spider-Man as I saw him low health and tried to give him all of that. I hear the amplifiers in play, so you know what that means. I'm going back in. I'm trying to get a pick. I'm trying to focus the Jeff here because that's their healer. That is kind of the pain. And I see their Ultron here. Again, I let my ego take leadway, but he does pop himself the shields, and he is getting healed by the Jeff, so I kind of have to put my ego aside and leave the fight with the tail between my legs as I wait for my team. This guy isn't actually too bad at surviving as well. I've kind of figured that out. Whenever you lose a team fight, you can escape pretty easily. It depends how you've been playing it. But again, I'm trying to pick their Ultron. Our Spider-Man kind of threw himself on point by himself. Didn't really get enough time to react to heal him. I see my Iron Man here go in for this, so I give him the health and shield, hoping he'd come with me. But as you can see, he did not have the intention on that. So I thought I'd take matter into my own hands and eliminate the Hela promptly by myself. Kind of forcing myself to contest here. And I go down to the Thing, but there is the beacon here. So I am swiftly back in the fight already. Put a drone on the Bucky here. Use the beam to keep my Penny in the fight whilst damaging others. I try and focus the Emma a little bit there just to get her. I notice she's really low, but she doesn't go down. And our Bucky does have a Gen available, but I think he actually gets eaten there, so he can't really do much. But no more again. Spider-Man goes down. I get grabbed by Emma, so I just try and fly away from her so I don't take too much damage. I try and take out the Hela because obviously she's a smaller HP target. I still notice that Emma's focusing me here, so I try and do my best to get her off of me. But I also want to keep my Penny up at the same time. So once again, I am just trying my hardest to keep them alive. Penny goes down, unfortunately, but so does the Hela. Thing's gone down as well. Emma's ulting. You know, it's a bit of a madness out here. I pick off the Jeff in the distance, which is really good. Shield myself to try and get rid of their Ultron here. as that's their only support left. If he goes down, then it's basically a one fight for us. But he does start to get the damage on me there, and down he goes as well. It's just Emma left, and we swiftly remove her from the equation as we take the point. But Doctor Strange has opened a portal. I'm sick of this, so I decide to ult, just seeing if I can heal anybody up and keep them away. I see the Hello does that, and so we catch her there. Bucky gets a reset. I was hoping he'd go for the Strange, as the Strange was low, but he goes down not long after, and there's the Ultron back again, so I try and take him out as he ults, but he does waste his ult there, and our Spider-Man has somehow gone all the way to their spawn and died. Isn't that very poetic? And again, the fight has started once more. My Bucky's kind of at the front line, so I've given him the drone. I can see him in the corner of my eye, so I can just kind of keep check on him if he needs the shield. Give it to my Spider-Man instead, as he goes below half health. I use the beam here, just trying to keep my Spider-Man up. You know, Jeff ults here. I notice that the Unk and the Strange is attacking my Bucky. But unfortunately, you can see this scenario is not looking too ideal right now. It's all a bit of a mess. I use the shields there to try and keep the Bucky up. Moon Knight ult. I don't think anyone goes down to it. Hela ults. That's the second DPS ult. I haven't got mine. Moon Knight's down. Spider-Man's down on our team. Not really that big of a loss, though, I'm going to be real. But there we go. We put the drone on someone else. I'm trying to keep everybody up here. And then I put that on my Iron Man just to make him that little bit harder to kill. I, for some reason, don't target the Jeff here. But when I really should have seen his health in the back there. But I guess I was too focused on what's happening on point. But we equip the beam again just to see the penny through to the end, and then I decide to ult here, and we keep trying to beam people down. Down goes Emma, but down I go as well to the Doctor Strange explosion. And unfortunately, I don't get the beacon as well. Doctor Strange ults, but the amplifier goes off, but Rocket dies as he activates the amplifier, but that's more than enough for us to try and get back in time as we suddenly get a Strange. As we come back for the point now, healing everybody up, and I think all that's left here is Doctor Strange on point. Spider-Man goes down again. Emma comes in with the ult. I'm trying to hide behind here so I don't get mind controlled. I try and take out Moon Knight in the process as all of this is going on, giving everyone a shield as much as I can. Moon Knight getting healed by their Ultron and the Jeff, so I can't finish him off there. I try and pick Jeff off in the distance, but I see that my Bucky's gone down to the Jeff primary fire. And I see that my Penny's gone down as well now. Bucky's back, though, because of the rocket beacon, and all of them have stepped off the point for our secure win. And I get MVP here. Nope, I'm kidding. I lied, apparently. Oh, no, I do at the bottom. 29 KOs, 6 deaths, 31 assists. That's pretty damn good for my very first match on Ultron, I can't lie. And here's his MVP animation with the victory. I don't know why that appeared on the screen there, but that was that. And we finished our very first match with 16k damage, almost 10k damage blocked, and 22,000 healing. Not too bad. And now we're going to head into our second match where I was on a high because I had MVP with Ultron. Alright, and heading into game 2, for some reason, Galactus doing the countdown even though the match has already started. But we are on a solid defense with Ultron here. And we have Punisher, Iron Man, Magneto, Loki, and Emma as our allies here. So we get the team up once more. I think one of my viewers / my friend wanted to play Iron Man or just see what Ultron was like with the team up. Maybe they just wanted to give it to me for the sake of the video, but you can see here, like, Ultron is not even bad on defense as well. You can kind of just hang back again and just try and poke people out as they come on the aggro here. And just keep your teammates up, because the more grouped up your teammates are, obviously the better for Ultron. But obviously that makes certain characters like Moon Knight stronger against him, because he can just kind of shred through the healing. Literally anyone with splash damage, you know, like, he's kind of like a double-edged sword, you know. His healing isn't too great, but his damage is really good. But it feels like if you play too aggro against Ultron, he can easily reversal it against you. And I mean easily reversal it against you. But you can see here, they haven't got exactly the best team comp. They're running 3 DPS, 2 supports, 1 tank. So I guess that's a lot less healing for Ultron to worry about on their team. But at the same time, and they have a lot more damage, but, you know, less tankiness means harder push to get through. And yes, this is definitely the Marvel Rivals moment of all time. Everyone is pressing their ultimate. I keep my tanks up here, though. I try my hardest here. I try and burst down the cap at the same time, but I notice my Punisher's playing a bit aggro from it, so I decide to shift the focus on him so he doesn't go down. And you can see there, I stupidly didn't pay attention to my Iron Man there. And we go low there, but I try and put the beam at the ready because I don't actually know why there. There wasn't really a real need. Maybe I thought it was going to self-heal me, but again, I see the Ultron in the distance. I try and get my ego in, but my Punisher takes the kill. I swear I'm not actually an egomaniac. I think it's just the whole thing of like being able to beam someone out the sky is very satisfying with this character. See, Cap comes back in, but again, no tank to support Cap's dive. He kind of doesn't really get much done, especially after the nerfs. But again, we're just kind of keeping the hold here, just poking anyone who tries to play a bit too aggro against my team and hopefully make them back up, and then taking out the flyers when we can, along with my Iron Man. And as you can see there, he gets one of them, the Punisher gets the other, but that's kind of where I feel like he's a good support, you know. If you put a drone on someone, they play aggro, and you support it from behind, you will shred that target. If you're hitting your shots, you can shred the targets. He's so good at doing that. An Ultron who hits his shots is going to be a force to be reckoned with, just purely based on how much damage he does per burst. And as you can see here, Iron Man comes up again, and both of us just shredded him, just gone in a second. It's so easy, and the enemy team can't really do much to push through here, but they do get a second tank. Strange might actually be pretty okay against Ultron because of the shield, obviously, protecting everything. I'm pretty sure I get my ult ready here because they start pushing in with their things, and I try and get my teammates back up to full with this. My Magneto eats their Iron Man's ult. I try and take someone out. I see their Ultron just kind of chilling there, so I try and take the 1v1 as I realize I need to reload. So I try my hardest here to keep myself up. Thankfully, the Emma goes for them there, so I try and just kill the Cap with the beam here, as it seems like no one's paying too much attention to him. But down he goes, me and my Loki doing work together. Notice that Ultron's ulting, so I just try and keep everyone topped up, as he's not really using it in the most team productive way imaginable. I feel like that's where a lot of people play Ultron's ult wrong. They think they can use it to like frag and get like a triple or something. You can use it for both. Use it to support your team and get potentially a double kill with all the splash damage that comes along with it. But you can see here again, already down to a minute, and these guys are not having a good time. They are not having a good time as we are just holding the fort here. And I see that Iron Man's low. Again, he's gone down once again. I mean, I guess he's got to deal with me, Punisher, and the own Iron Man. But my Iron Man's popping off here. He gets 3, you know. And it's just time to relax, as nothing but the Cap is left on the point. Just kind of scurrying around in the hopes for to stall it out for his team. But this is the enemy team's last chance here, basically. 20 seconds left on the board. I have my ultimate. I hear strangers opening a portal. And my Iron Man actually deals with that. He just nukes him as he's trying to equip the portal. But I think I get a bit too overconfident here, and I kind of waste my ultimate on a bunch of nothing. Yeah, like everyone's topped up, you know, there's no real need for me doing that. I try and focus the Cap down here. And this ult kind of bites me in the arse here. So Cap ults, which is already a bad sign, which means he can contest for a bit longer. And this is where it all starts to go shit. No one's really killing Cap. Strange ults. This would have been a very good time for me to use my ultimate. I could have saved both of my teammates there. And this is where I use the beam to try and salvage everything. But at the same time, the Ultron's on me, so I can't really focus it. And I think my best bet of survivability is just trying to get out as quick as I can. And I basically threw that with my terrible ultimate choice of being overconfident, and they get it in overtime. As you can see, I've used the boost just to back up a bit, get back into position of being able to see everybody from a bird's eye view. It's okay to go lower ground as well, because if it's only you and one other support, you kind of want them to see you so you can bring them to full HP. And also, if you go low, you can put the drone on them and heal yourself if they're not paying attention to you, which is really good. But you can see here, I'm just trying to help my Magneto hold the front line there. I use the beam just to see if I can apply pressure here and get them out. W tracking by me, by the way, as you can see there. I just shot into the void, not even really paying attention. I just be holding shit sometimes and just shooting. And there we go, poking even more. They've all backed up here, and it is looking very comfy for us once more. Kind of looking like the first point defense, but my Iron Man ults, I did not pay attention to him, and he goes down to Black Widow. She's landing a couple shots on me, so I'm just trying to hide behind cover now and keeping my teammates up. Do that for the Magneto, put it on for the Punisher now, and then try and use the beam as he went very low. And he's kind of moving all over the place, so I kind of struggled to track him there. But I come back round, healing up my Emma and Mag. I'm a real big fan of that team up though. And then this is where I try to use my ult again to save my mag, but that 1 second animation of equipping my ult is actually kind of getting me screwed there. Couldn't save the mag in time. We get pushed back a little bit here. I was able to keep my Emma topped up though, but again, I'm just kind of sitting back here, hoping that I can apply even more pressure, you know, just chipping people out. Beam, 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 drone for whoever needs it. Again, I don't need to give it to the person who is on critical. I mostly need to give it to someone who's near the person that's critical, so both of them get the healing, you know. If I can't see them, but someone's next to them and I can see them, I might as well put it on them. Again, we just escape with our lives as well. No deaths so far on the board for me. 1 minute left. See my Emma scrapping with the Doctor Strange on point, so I thought what's best to try and help her as I try and pick off anybody in the distance whilst they're fighting there, so they're forced to leave the fight. See the Ultron there hiding, and I go for him there. You know, that forces him to move to the side. He can't heal himself, so, you know, there's nothing there going on for him. And then I just see him kind of poking down there, getting ready to get out. But here we go. Cap contesting with his ultimate. And Iron Man in the sky, beamed once again by me, Punisher, and my own Iron Man. And it is so easy to deal with flyers if both of you just focus up on him. If you're teamed up with Iron Man, if you have an Iron Man duo and you play Ultron, coordinate when you're going to go against a diver. You will just kill them. Like, if both of you just coordinate it, they will just get deleted from the game. But you can see here, Magneto ults, he manages to get their Mantis in the distance, my Iron Man ults, unfortunately gets nobody here. I'm holding on to my ult when I feel like it's going to matter. I try and get their Black Widow in the distance, but my Punisher gets it for me. Iron Man goes down, he does get a double there though, so this is where I feel like I should ult, but at the same time it's not really needed as my Emma and Magneto are okay here as I use the beam. I'm pretty sure their Ultron is ulted here. Yep, there we go. And then that's him out of the sky once again. And then this is where I just try and finalize the fight here. But their Mantis also has ult. I heal up our Iron Man here. I'm trying my hardest to keep them out of it. But again, it's not really meant for damaging. You can use it for damage, but you're not going to be beating a Mantis ult with Ultron's ult. My Loki copies me, and again, Emma pushes them off the point, and I think I get another MVP here for just, you know, 0 deaths. Yeah, again, I get MVP on my second match with Ultron. 17 KOs, 0 deaths, 33 assists with 8k damage, not as much this time, 22,000 healing. So this guy's healing isn't bad at all. I think people just need to learn how to do it, and with 3.8k damage blocked, so nothing spectacular this time, but, you know, a nice little comfy second match, and we're going to head into the third one now. Alright, and our third and final match here is a no tank match on my team. We are running 4 DPS and 2 supports. Luna being a very strong healer this season with her buffs. I know she got a nerf to her ultimate, but it doesn't really matter. We do have the Iron Man thing, but I'm pretty sure I rarely use it this match, purely based on the fact that we don't have a tank to deal with. So I'm mostly focusing on damage and just kind of keeping the drone on one person whilst they play aggro. He works really well with divers because obviously you can just put the drone on them and it makes them harder to kill as they do their dives, but at the same time, you know, you don't want to play stupid. You don't want to run with the diver. Ultrons are very like, have my drone, now fuck off, or like go do your own thing, as I will stand here and try and eliminate the back line or the front line, either one that can work for him. Our Wolverine, you know, he's playing like a bit of a maniac, so again, I just equipped the shield on him, so once again, a character that's already pretty tough to kill with this stuff is even harder to kill. But you can see here, I kind of hang back with my beam. I accidentally get Mr. Fantastic with it there, which is kind of funny, but again, like, no real worries for me back here. They haven't got a hit scan that can deal with me, so this is kind of a free match. My biggest threat is Bucky, but he's projectile still, so he's got to land some pretty damn good shots, and pretty damn close as well if he wants to 3-tap me here. I managed to get him here. I don't really want to use my ult on the Jeff, so I kind of just let it fly by as I fly away as Cap comes down, heal up my Moon Knight there, and put the shield on him so he's back to full HP. I thought there was going to be more needed, but there we go again. My Luna gets a double KO. My Iron Man gets another kill with his ultimate. And it is a 3v6 right now, as Jeff's ult still kind of sucks. He's mostly going to be used for the team-ups this season, in my opinion. Again, put the drone on my Iron Man, who unfortunately goes down there to Bucky. But we did get rid of Cap, so that's all good there. We're kind of just smooth sailing right now. See Venom come back in. Not really sure if he's going to go for a dive or not, which he shouldn't really because his team's not here. But he does come in for it. So I kind of just keep my distance so I don't get hit by that. And I've noticed there's an Iron Fist now. And I try and use my ult here to save everybody from the Bucky ult. You think it looks good here. You think this would look good, like the correct play. But my Luna goes down and the again chain happens. So once more, we are fleeing as Bucky kind of takes over the lobby there. Wolverine goes for his own ult, but yeah, my Iron Man goes down to Ultron. My Wolverine's kind of playing a bit aggro there, so I think it's just best that we just kind of relax and try and poke whoever tries to overextend here, or even potentially get rid of them for now. But yeah, as you can see, I just hang back. The fight starts to pick up again here, and you can see Iron Fist already low HP from his fight. W nerfs, thank God Iron Fist is getting nerfed here. I notice he's still behind. I didn't know Venom was behind though, but I notice he's got not much shield, so we just try and beam him here. Down goes Venom. Put the shield on my Luna so she doesn't go down to the cap. And then we just equip the beam here so we can poke people from afar whilst also healing my teammates. Cap again, just kind of contesting the point. No one's really shooting at him, so I try and put my hand in here. And as we can see, Cap doing what he does best, which is just stalling the cart. Iron Fist ults here. I just try and get away from Iron Fist so I don't have to deal with that. Iron Fist blocks Iron Man's ult. And I feel like this was a good time to ult here. I see 3 criticals. I keep them both up immediately after that. Keep Moon Knight up as well. And I get 2 assists on the KOs there. I think that was one of the best Ultron ults I've done so far this video. It kept everyone up and we got 2 KOs out of it. As you can see, we're smooth sailing on the second point as the fight starts to begin again. Cap's already lost half his health. I'm trying to keep an eye on my Luna as they seem to be staying on the point right now for now. Just, you know, hanging in the middle of it, pushing it along, and they go down. I failed already. I failed as my job. I literally took the drone off of them for 1 second. So I put it on Moon Knight here. We're still, you know, pushing it pretty successfully. These guys are very uncoordinated despite having the way better team comp. They got quad support out here with Bucky and Cap, you know. They should be... none of them should be dying, logically. Especially the Cap with his survivability, but I guess he did get nerfed. We try and use the beam here just to keep our Wolverine up. He does lose his extra shot, which kind of sucks, but again, my DPS is kind of just picking off the backline, and down goes my Moon Knight. So it feels like if you're not hard focusing a lot of the time on some people, you will lose fights because your healing isn't really that great for single target. Well, it's alright for single target, but you just want to be making sure that the person you're putting the drone on, you're also supporting them in fights as well. You can't just put it on them and leave them, because obviously it's not the best healing. Our Luna ult's here to save herself, but that's okay, because we're going to try and get some picks here ourselves. See Invisible Woman there get picked off. There's another pick on Bucky there. You know, not a bad Luna ult at the end of it. Moon Knight ults as well to keep the tank inside of that. Down Emma goes there, and again, guess who's contesting? Captain fucking America as we once again try and take him out. His shield's broken, so he can't lift it up for another 4 seconds. He goes down for it. I try and heal Moon Knight here, and then I notice Spider-Man also needs healing, so I put the drone on him as well. Moon Knight still needs healing, so I give that to him. And then, again, we've just captured the second point pretty easily, and we're already on our final push here. And as we can see here now, they have picked the dreaded Squirrel Girl, a character that's not really that good. Don't know how she's going to be doing after the buffs, but it'll be interesting to see. She unleashes her ult. Not really much of a worry for me, but Captain America, on the other hand, a little bit of a worry. I see my Luna on point, kind of just holding the line there. I try and heal her with the beam. She goes down to Squirrel Girl. Iron Man has also gone down to Squirrel Girl. I try and heal Moon Knight up here, you know. I give him the drone there. And, you know, he just kind of lives his best life out. And then just out of nowhere, hit by another Squirrel Girl nut. Hit by another one. A third one. A fourth one. Can we get a fourth one for the Moon Knight? No, he's okay now. But I get hit by Bucky's, like, energy beam. And then I get forced onto the ground. They, for some reason, Invisible Woman ult. And then I'm chilling with my 2 teammates up here. And both of them just go down to Squirrel Girl again. So at this point, I kind of just want to relax a bit here, as obviously it's very pressuring, and I'm just going to chill and spawn for now until the rest of my team are back. Because again, we don't have a tank, so we can't really play too aggro here. We just need to play for survivability at this point. Wolverine goes in with his ult. He manages to get Bucky, which is a huge pick, and he's playing aggro. Moon Knight gets a pick, so does Spider-Man, and this is suddenly a 3v6. Down goes Magneto, and as you can see, we're kind of just working on cleaning up here as we get the Ultron for the diff. As I will say every time I get a kill with them. And we just heal on up. See Moon Knight up there who needs a bit of healing. Give the drone to him. Give it to Spider-Man. I gave him the shield there in hopes he would go in, realizing he's got that overhealth. I give that to my Iron Man because I assume they were going to go for an ult. Just keeping them topped up, or, you know, that they get healed when they do eventually go for it. Bucky comes down with his ult. I use my ult, but it gets absorbed by Magneto, so that's actually a character you've got to be watching out for, which really sucks for Ultron that he can't even ult without worrying about Magneto's ult as well. So he's a very good counter to Ultron's ult. Wolverine loses his extra life, but again, these guys are kind of just getting chipped off one by one so often that we kind of just steamroll it here at the end here. Despite having no tanks, they couldn't really handle our raw DPS output. And again, that is kind of just another clean win for us. And you wouldn't believe who gets MVP for his third Ultron match in a row. Yes, 19 KOs at 0 deaths, 25 assists, leaving me with 6k damage. Not too bad. Did more than our Spider-Man, not more than our Wolverine, Moon Knight, or Iron Man, but 15k healing. That's a lot. That's a lot considering we only had 4 DPS as our heals there. So this guy's healing isn't actually that bad as people thought it was going to be. But that about concludes my gameplay analysis on myself with Ultron. Overall, I think he needs a small buff, a very small buff to help him with his ultimate. I think his ultimate is the only, like, mediocre thing in his kit so far, which is that I think the AoE could be a little bit bigger. Maybe he could have, like, 4 extra shots on his primary fire, and they could decrease the damage slightly. Because 6 shots is pretty limited, but I'll quickly show my stats with Ultron right now. And we've played 18 matches with him and got 10 wins, so we're above 50% win rate right now. I'm going to continue to learn this character, as I think he's really fun. But with that all being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.